Hello and welcome to this video where I hopefully will give you some DM advice on the Spelljammer Academy orientation first free adventure from D&D Beyond. This is spoiler heavy, so if you're going to play this game, turn off. If you're a DM, want to run it, because that's what I'm imagining is going to happen, that a lot of you are new starting to this thing and there's a free adventure out and it's all new and exciting, so I imagine this could be your first DM little adventure, so I'm just going to walk you through it and see how we go. Right, so immediately it does say the adventure is for 3 to 7 first level characters. I mean, you don't want to start off playing with 7 characters. It's going to be a struggle, so I would say 4, 5 maximum for beginners. Anyway, it's set on this Spelljammer Academy on the island of Nimbrel, which is southwest of Chulton Peninsula. Now I'm actually playing Adventure Tomb of Annihilation in Chult with my players, so that's really cool how they can actually get a ship from the Chult and go straight into the adventure in space. That's really good. So starting in the background here, welcome to the Spelljammer Academy. Promising recruits are trained here under the tutelage of experienced spelljammers who prepare fledgling spacefarers for the perils of wild space and the astral sea. That is being, you look up and you see space and out and beyond. The space beyond between worlds is where this will take place. So basically, yeah, we'll skip over the overview because we're going to actually delve into it. Adventure hooks. Well, I know that players don't know anything about why they're here, so it does. I know that it starts off also saying to roll initiative, so right into the action you want your players to roll initiative, and that is to throw them into the thick of it. That's how they're best going to learn. And it says normally you would have the players introduce themselves to each other. Don't do that, but there are some givens here in a second. Roll initiative. You stand on the deck of your spelljamming ship, Moonraider, even as explosions obliterate 2 of its masts and hurl a dozen of your fellow sailors into wild space. Distant stars and wheeling clouds of multicoloured gas spin around you as the first pirate galleon slams into Moonraider's starboard side, and a gust of foul wind washes over you as the galleon's air envelope merges with your own. Seconds later, your vessel is boarded by astral Reavers, humanoids possessed of strange features waving cruel weapons and unleashing blasts of magic. Captain Sardax lies on the deck nearby, her body ruined by shrapnel. "Hold the top deck," she snarls with her dying breath. "Grant them no quarter." So throw whatever voice you want or not. So yeah, the encounter starts in the thick of the action. Here's what we know. The characters know that they are crew members on Moonraider, but they have no recollection of events before the attack. They know they are making their first journey out into wild space. To guess, you can explain it away that Reavers have made some sort of disorientating magic over the crew, hoping to make it easier to seize the ship. This is just covering for the fact that they don't have any memories of how they got here. The characters know Captain Sardax, understand that her death leaves it up to them and the other crew to repel the Reavers. The characters do know and trust each other, so there's no newbies not trusting each other. They're all friends, and that's how they should play it. Then you've got a map for your play area, which you can draw on a piece of paper. You can project this to your TV, so they've got an idea, or on a whiteboard. Whatever you decide, that is the area. The start of the combat, 2 astral Reavers were using the Bandit Stats at the edge of the forecastle area. So yeah, they jump on. Don't roll initiative for the enemies go last, it says. It's going to basically only last a couple of turns anyway. At the start of each character's turn though, you have to roll on this chart where something new and interesting happens, such as another bandit jumps on, there's an explosion, and people have to succeed on a deck save or fall over. Not too bad. A second spelljamming ship goes overhead and rains down enemy arrows on the defenders. So they just roll on a 1 to 9 on a d20. That basically means, because it's got a +3 to the arrow, effectively you could call that DC 12, and if they fail that, they get hit by an arrow, which does 3 piercing damage. A bit of rope, knocks them over, reduces the speed. Anyway, this is a good one. The ship's dog, Bruno, rushes to the aid of a character of the player's choosing. The character can use a reaction to sip from this healing keg around the dog's neck. So if anyone falls down and seem worried, you can send this dog over to them. But it doesn't really matter because it's all just an illusion anyway. The Reavers, now when you get a Reaver on, I think these are really good descriptions for the Reavers. And I really do like the giant goldfish bowl head containing a floating brain as a description of one of the Reavers. Or you can have helicopter blades mounted on the head, infantile second head that continually spits curses, depends on your age rating there. Yeah, I think you can even pop, I know it says two guys to start with, but I would populate the background with some of these. They're not yet on the ship, but they're coming closer. Just let the players get a good sense of all the weird and wonderful things. And it says here, after 2 rounds anyway, the battle resolves. So, a thunderous explosion shakes the ship, filling the air with splinters of wood. Bodies are hurled into wild space, and then everything stops. Wreckage hangs motionless. Reavers freeze in the middle of their attacks. Even the stars stop twinkling. It's a VR experience. The illusion of wild space melts away and you find yourself in one of the magical chambers of the simulations deck, your memories slowly fitting back into place. You recall being warned that your first experience of a wild space simulation would be disorientating, to test your ability to function under pressure. A hulking figure emerges from the centre of the explosion, a Hadose, which is kind of monkey folk, with a missing wing flap, wearing a military uniform bristling with medals. The air around her smells like cigar smoke. As you can see, Bosun Tato growls. The Battle of Hakatha didn't go so well for Captain Sardax and her crew, but her last battle makes a good testing ground for new recruits. End simulation. So then you realise what's going on. Now further down we've got a picture of Bosun. It even tells you how to pronounce Bosun Tato. And this description is kind of backwards. The more it goes on, the more useful information it has. Never wants to one to mince words, even to those of superior. This old grizzled Hadose has light tan skin, ebon black fur greying at the temples. She's perpetually shrouded in a thick haze of cigar smoke, the smell of which often signals her imminent arrival. Therefore, you want to describe the smell of cigar smoke, and then they see a cloud of cigar smoke, and out comes this one-winged Hadose lady. Yeah, I would make cards for the NPCs like this, just to put the things in order, such as that. Helpful tips, even the voice, do they speak loud, do they speak whispery, or quickly or slowly, you know, with some sort of inflection, just some keywords to DM for yourself, so that whenever that character speaks, you can quickly cast your eyes over and mimic what you've written. So the characters remember seeing Bosun Tato, and the battle has been an illusory exercise conducted in one of the Academy's simulation chambers. It has runes all scribed all over the walls of these large circular spaces, and they contain training versions of Spelljammer helms, which is what the spellcasters attune to control spaceships. And there's a training version in the middle. The simulation ends, all characters, you know, regain health and stuff. But anybody who did fall in battle, they were unconscious, and they come back with a level of exhaustion, which is one level of exhaustion. Come on, oh, we've got here. Didn't mean to do that. One level of exhaustion anyway is basically disadvantage on ability checks. So no big deal. Maybe have yourself a laptop. So part 2. We're already on part 2. The newest cadets are given extensive orientation. They get shown around, which you get given. The players get given a map. You arrive this morning on Belligerence. a chartered galley out of Waterdeep, which picked up passengers and crew in the Moonshade Isles, Baldur's Gate, Candlekeep and Port Nyanzaru. As I say, Port Nyanzaru is kind of where my players are, so that's really cool. Come for another adventure. You've come to seek fortune and glory at Spelljammer Academy, a secret enclave of spellcasters and swords for hire on the mysterious Isle of Nimbrel. Graduates from the Academy join the Spelljammer fleet, a magical navy sworn to protect Torrell and explore worlds far beyond. The Academy is in a 2,000-foot high column of rock that juts up from the cliffs of the island's west coast. Its multiple levels connected by stairs, ramps and magical lifts. After docking in a sea cave at the base of the column, you marched to the simulations deck midway up the Academy spire. Your mettle has been tested and now it's time to settle in. So here we have the... how do you do this thing? Yeah, here we have all the... I think this is the DM version. All the different levels. So going in at the bottom here, this is where the boat's going. And then you get this with it. You can enlarge it on your screens. It's even better here actually, isn't it? So yeah, boats come in and then there's places to get up and around. There's another version for the players. It just doesn't have exactly what these are, but I would project this to my TV if I was doing it, so everyone in the room can see what the dealio is. So the bandits, as they boarded, which I sort of forgot about, you use these bandit stats. Now the AC is 12. I personally would always run the hit points as maximum because I give my players their maximum health, but that's total homebrew. So my bandits here would be 2, 8, 16, 17, 18, 18 health, or you can play them 11. Doesn't matter. The whole battle's not going to last long. They have a scimitar with a +3, and it does average of 4 damage, or you can roll. Again, I'd make a card, Astral Reaver, AC 12, hit points, whatever. Sword, +3, 4. Light crossbow, +3, 5 damage. So you've got a very quick reference, and it doesn't slow the game down. So we've arrived. During the characters' debriefing, Tato gives each of them a pitiless assessment of their performance, gives them a bit of a dressing down, but doesn't actually go too harsh on them. A truly good leader isn't needlessly cruel in their criticisms. Then you get a bit of a old history of what the Spelljammer Academy is like. Mert the Merciless, also known as the Old Wolf, is the founder. And then we have the Bridge, which is all the top ranking officers are known as the Bridge. They wear gold shirts. And then the Academy was founded by Mert as part of a joint investment with a retired elf adventurer Elmandar, who now operates a shop in the Rock of Bral, which is a city built on an asteroid. Prince Andrew, the Monarch of Bral, has invested heavily in the Academy, though his support has waned of late over questions regarding security, because the Academy is having some thieves steal things at the moment, so it's a bit of a problem. So, the objectives: all cadets collect welcome packs from administration. All cadets report to quarters for Bunker Sound. So you break these down, but all, and then it says core cadets and Spelljammer cadets only. The core cadets are people who are not spellcasters, because the main spellcaster is going to be the driver of the ship. Everyone else gets to split up, basically. But we're about to get to that as well. As they walk around these buildings, there is a warning sign here about the thefts. Yeah, recent thefts. So there's certain areas of this place that you can't gain access to, which I think it's going to mention very soon. Yes. Okay. So basically, Spelljammer Academy has a 5-tier security system, all represented by colours. The colours being, you start level 2, by the way. You're going to get a red shirt. So on the map, there's green, red, blue, purple, and gold, and these are the highest people who can go anywhere. but then purple can go anywhere below, but not onto gold. So yeah, you have to have certain shirts to enter certain places, and to stop anyone sneaking, the checkpoints are set up throughout the academy, guarded by 3 veterans. The veterans will kick your butt, because if we bring up their stats, look at the health on these dudes, and then they do. They have a short sword here, which they do, like I say, they do an average of 6, but there's 3 of them, so that's 18 average. And what happens, it says, is that when you get to 0, you're not unconscious. You literally disintegrate, as if affected by the disintegrate spell from this green glowing sword they have. You are not getting through to areas where you're not supposed to be. As your characters are walking around, you've also got a table, which I would actually just use one at a time, go through the list, just to give the walking around a bit of flavour. I think it's really good. For example, a halfling cadet crashes past, clearly late for training. Turning a corner, they bump into a pair of plasmoid cadets, which are light users, and become partially stuck in one of them. After pulling themselves out and helping the plasmoid correct their uniform, the halfling runs on, shouting an apology. There's nothing where they lead to, but the players will interact and enjoy those things, hopefully. So again, a bit more about the levels on which thing, on what area. But it's on the map of the academy itself. We have little dots on each zone. So the tasks they have to come and get their welcome packs. They turn up and they get their red level cadet uniform, toiletry bag, some gold, and a blue level security helmet for visiting the Sky Dock, because that's part of their orientation. And then, who have we here? We have an NPC, Sorker. Yeah, Sorker. A Thrikeen. I'm not sure what a Thrikeen is. Always busy and just handing out stuff to the players. Security level gold, rank only. Yeah, the bridge are the highest people in this building, apart from I suppose. Cadet ranks, yeah, you can turn up and there's a smaller dorm, a refectory, so that's where they eat and wash, the kitchens, and do their laundry. Bunk assignment, they have to go and get a bed, a GIF, it's a hippo person. We'll give them their footlocker and where to put their stuff. And then what happens here is an elf, one of the cadets, you can create an elf to be a bit of a bully. Change of plan, Greenie, this bunk's mine now. Go tell the duty officer it wasn't to your liking and we'll get ourselves swapped over. Tell him you've traded bunks with Vina. The elf points to an unkempt bunk in the noisy section of the dorm, just outside the washrooms. Yeah, so someone's beating you to your bunk, and you can intimidate this person, start a fight, but you are giving inspiration to anyone who doesn't fight. Use the Bandit Stats. Instead they make unarmed attacks, so they only do 2 damage. Yeah, Vina and her friends flee. Just some bullies. Then there's a gymnasium section where you have to go, and there's some really good things like running through these exercise courses. Make a straight dash while targeted by loud illusory explosions, DC 10 con save. Leap across levitating platforms, swing from ropes through a spinning wheel of maces with a dex save. Just, I mean, you can just make those up on the fly. Picture it, going down a slide and into some netting, whatever. Roll initiative to determine the order. In each stage in the course, a character must succeed on the indicated ability check or saving throw to overcome the obstacle and move on. They can try again. You'd fall into water if you fail, perhaps, or you get lightning zapped, whatever. Any character who falls unconscious must sit out the remainder of the event. Then there is a sea cave, animal pens for livestock, it's all on the map. Then the simulations deck, sky, yeah, there's just places they can go, and some have like this orientation task. Here we meet twin gnome officers, and I know in this bit, yeah, one good turn, you actually see an officer give alcohol, some garden rum, to a lesser officer. He's doing them a favour, like a reward, but it's not really allowed, and it's up to you whether you actually tell on this crime or not, or you let it go. But if you do tell them the crime, being a goody-goody, actually you get some enemies from that. A little description about these gnome inspectors, a red scar, just things like that help to get a picture of who they are. Then we have the Spelljamming Nexus, which is the training area, and we meet Sayeth Abazin. And yeah, a really good high-ranking officer who trains you. Basic training. So this is a bit of a role-play bit. Sayeth will ask a question to each player, and then you get inspiration if you answer your questions well. Stores, you go over and pick up your weapons, so you can spend that 50 gold on equipment. No changes given. Here's Master Blip. He is the weaponsmith or whatever. His eyes, I know his eyes change colour with different moods, which it mentions here. He is really knowledgeable about the Spelljammer Academy, particularly is an encyclopedia of all subjects related to spelljamming. So that's the DM's way to speak some information through him. The last task, so once you know your list of orientations, there's actually one other thing. You have to escort this box to the head, the academy head. So it gives you Tato gives you a security helmet coloured gold, so that you can access every area. You have to avoid damaging or tampering with the crate anywhere, and obey Mert's order to the letter. But when you get there, you find he's asleep anyway, and the door's open. So it weighs £100, 2 characters can carry it easily. Unknown to the academy, this is a bit of a assassination attempt. These, does he have a picture of these? Not here. There we go. There we go. So these are tiny aberrations, but they could do some little nibbly bites and walk on the ceiling, and that's what's inside the crate. Come on, back we go. So part 3, they've taken up this box. Mert's quarters are sumptuously decorated with velvet curtains, gold fittings and oak panels. A cauldron-sized fishbowl stands along one wall, filled with squirming octopuses. Octopi, bugs me that. On the opposite wall, a table bears a topographic map of the Sword Coast. Nearer the door, a walk-in wardrobe stands partly open, golden light spilling out from within. Little map there for you. Mert is snoring in bed. A fishbowl, you can smash it open. Topographic map. If you actually look, there's figurines on top of it, and if you put your hands in the way in any way, actually the holographic bombs actually pinprick your hands and do damage. The walk-in wardrobe will actually make you feel like you've gone to a spa, you disappear into another dimension, come back and you've healed even. Waterbed that he sleeps on can be burst. When Mert detects the character's presence, you can have him open his single bloodshot eye. By Ilmater's buttocks, my head is exploding. If you've come to drop off that thing, just put it on the rug there. Open it as quietly as you can and let me die in peace. To which point these hatchlings break out. And yeah, he's very slow to get out of bed, so it's on the players. But every round has Mert doing something like hopping around, trying to get his underwear on. Breeches around his ankle, he crawls on all fours for his belt and rapier. It's just a bit of fun to intermingle the fight that's meant to occur. The sound of battle in Mert's quarters alerts guards. Too little, too late. It's difficult to tell, but the Autonome looks worried. His bronze moustache hangs lower than usual, and his mechanical eyes have sunken in their sockets. With regret, Master Mert, this attack was merely diversion. While our forces were drawn down here, more burglaries were reported across the academy. Our thief has struck again. Treasure, you get 50 GPs worth of gold ingot to spend around the shops. Yeah, so the academy head, a little bit about him, and then you pretty much reward the characters with level 2. They have some gold to spend, but it says here that this event comes to an end. Any security helmets, the gold ones, in their possession must be returned to the guards before they leave. So they do have the access to the whole place removed. And there's your 3 bits of enemies, and your colours here I was talking about earlier, telling you who has access to what. And guys, that is it. Hopefully that was some help. I had a bit of a experience with this, I've already recorded it once. So yes, well, thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of it, and I'm hoping to upgrade my equipment at some point, but I'm just doing what I can with what my editor and laptop will allow. And thank you so much for watching, thanks for your time, and keep rolling 20s.